This is another potentially long video from the house of Sentai and Power Rangers. Why did I say that? I don't know why I said that. And yeah, I swear to God, these shadows are becoming a huge pain in the neck. I know it darkens everything on the video. I mean, no, yeah, the problem is, like I said before, the last Monday's video, I said that the lights, I mean, I would use one of them bendy lights from before, but they're both out of charge. I said to myself I'd charge the light up earlier, but my camera also needed to get charged, so I couldn't just use the port at the same time. So I swear to God, this will be the last video with these blimmin' shadows. I will get a charging for the light. It's not going to be an issue in the next one, I swear to God, unless there's a problem that stops the lights being charged, because we don't know if we're going to have a power outage or not. Hopefully that won't be the case. But anyway, as you can tell from the title of the video, this video is going to be about the Power Rangers Samurai Megazord. Now, I need to get into the habit of lining these individual Zords up, if applicable, because it looks a bit nicer, and you can't really see them all. Might want to move them back a bit. Oh, you're drunk, lad. Don't know if you'll be able to see them all, maybe. Oh, you can a bit. They won't all fit in the frame, maybe if I move them off to the side. Yeah, maybe it might work out a bit. Yeah, as you can see, oh, it's really precise, because one of them's not always going to be in frame. That's the best I can get it. So basically, I've just realised. If you're aware of the YouTuber Dozen Rider, he does Power Rangers and Sentai content too. On his Shinkano video, which I think was his first video on YouTube, goodness knows when that was. He organises all the origamis in the similar for the Japanese version. That video is coming next Monday. Oh, sorry about that. I'm running out of space on the desk. That was a legendary Megazord. Go on the floor. Naughty. But yeah, I do have the Japanese Shinkano for review on next Monday's video. Don't know why I'm putting it there. It's down there. There we go. So I will be showing the comparison for that eventually. But for now, let's just have a look at the American version, which is the Power Rangers Samurai Megazord. Now, the main thing about these American, because they're called folding Zords, not origamis. The problem is, despite what their name implies, they don't actually fold up properly, because as you will see in the next video, the folding Zords are meant to turn into these badges, like this one, for instance, which will bear some Japanese kanji or power symbol, as they were referred to in America. But unfortunately, most of the American folding Zords can't do that, but this one can, for a reason we'll get onto later. So instead of being in, because the default mode is meant to be emblem like this one, the other Zords are literally defaulted to having animal Zords as their default form, like the ape here, which we'll get onto later, which is kind of annoying. Anyway, we've got the first Zord here, which is the turtle folding Zord. Now, the emblem form for this is a circle with the heaven kanji on it, which is the heaven power symbol on it. This is a bit weird, because this is the kanji for heaven. I know, because I checked. Thanks for that, Go Sager. This is the power symbol for heaven. I know so, because it's on the well, Go Sager, like I said before. But for some reason they like to call this the sky, which is odd, because it's technically not sky, it's heaven. But they did that to avoid religious references, I suppose, because some people might be offended by that. All right. So this one turns into a turtle. But before we get on to that, let's get on to the details of the emblem. As you can see, the paint, they've painted the kanji up nice. The the black parts have all got like this bumpy feel to them because they've got like these small versions of the shape. So this one's got like small circles detailing on it, which is a nice detail. You've got a connector on the side, which is all done in, this whole body is done in grey plastic because this is the base plastic colour, which is kind of annoying, but yeah, it's how the this is, to be fair, this is how the Japanese one looked too. If I quickly get the cameo origami out, it's the same kind of grey colouring, so they couldn't really do anything about that because that's how it looked originally. Again, get onto that next video. If we turn it to the bottom, you can see there's some connectors. Annoyingly, as you can tell, there's a post here and there's a hole here, meaning that it wonks off to the side a lot. Of course, unlike the Japanese version where there's like another there's another post here, which means it'll always stand up straight, but this one wonks off to the side. If you've got this in turtle mode and displaying it, or in Megazord mode, it's not really much of an issue. I don't know why you'd want to display this in emblem mode alongside the other animals, to be fair, because it looks like the plague's wrong. So, I mean, yeah, based on collector's appeal of displaying, I will give this one a pass. Sorry about that, mates. Nothing really on the side here. There's a little hole for the turtle's head on top we'll get to in a minute. And the back, this is missing some black paint. Again, it's detailing on the back, so you're not going to see it if you're displaying it. But yeah, this is kind of it's missing some paint. Not really too noticeable, so again, I will give it a pass. Anyway, to transform this into turtle mode, all you do is you open it up like this, and it has a ratchet. It doesn't wobble around like the Japanese version does, or in my version, because the joints are loosened up a bit. Yeah, it squeaks a bit, because that's plastic. But yeah, that's alright. So you can see there's a turtle head in here. What you need to do is flip it out like this. On the bottom you've got some turtle feet that come out like this. You close it up. And yeah, you've got turtle mode. Now the reason, breaking news, the reason why they decided to keep the emblem mode just for this design, just for this Zord, is because the emblem is formed regardless of it being in emblem mode or in turtle mode. As you can see, it still retains its emblem shape, even in turtle mode, because it's meant to be the turtle's shell. Does this look like a turtle? Kind of. The feet here, they look like, it looks like it's missing some kind of black paint, like with the back here. But no, you'd be wrong, because if you were to think that, you're wrong, because the Japanese version actually doesn't have any paint on the feet at all. Again, it kind of feels like there should be some black accents on the feet, but and there isn't. But yeah, that's fine. Little hole here for where the Megazord hand. The turtle head has been painted up nice with some silver, and the eyes. This retains all the paint from the Japanese version, I think, on the head. If I have a look at the Japanese, yes, it does. Anyway, you got off to the side, mate, and we'll get on to the next Zord, which is the Ape Zord, or the Monkey Zord. I think Shinkenger called it a monkey, I think Samurai called it an ape. I don't know, it's the same Zord, why give it two different names? I think aren't apes like meant to be like more muscular? Monkeys aren't like that. This looks more like a monkey if we're using that kind of logic, but nah, I'm not in charge of Saban. Let's have a look at the design, like how we normally do. Grey face. The reason it's grey is because it's the closest colour they could have to silver, so this should be silver and it's not. Again, refer to the Rescue Megazord from last video. The joints are grey. This looks just a bit cheap to me, but yeah, it's not really the hinges. I mean, it does its job, so it's not much of an issue. The inside of these hands, yeah, it's a hollow. Yeah, this is cheap. They're all hollow. There's some holes for the Megazord hands. That's not really much of an issue. I think the Japanese version had kind of filled in parts and also hollow parts. So again, for that reason, I'm giving this a pass, because it kind of is like the Japanese version where the Inside's all hollow. Let me just do a check. Yeah, the top part's hollow, but the bottom part, like this part, is filled in. So yeah, honestly, it's missing some more. This part's meant to be filled in, and this is hollow, so they're kind of cheap on that idea. Other side's the same. Looking at the back, it's missing some silver on the side here. Not too much silver, I don't think. It's meant to be some silver on the very bottom part. It's missing just a tiny bit. Connector on the back, like with normal stuff, keeps the silver paint on both sides for all parts of the shape. So at least they kept that, because normally they would miss out the silver on this side too. So I'm glad they didn't do that. Maybe that's why they missed out the silver on the face. Cost-cutting measures. Of course, these arms are fully articulated. They will move 360 degrees, plus move in and out. If we have a look on the... Getting it into arm mode, look at the detailing here, you can see where the silver is missed out, because the silver line goes down from here and doesn't continue onto the back of the head. It's still yellow. It makes this side look finished, because the paint in this part is painted and this side isn't. Same on the back, it's missing the same amount of paint. They did all the silver, plus they did the part on the hand for both sides. So I mean I appreciate that. What I don't appreciate is that the fact they actually painted up the origami, the earth kanji, or the soil. They call it earth, but apparently this is the kanji for soil. They painted this up, and yeah, it makes it look as if it will turn into the triangle like the Japanese version, but of course it doesn't, because the hinge, it looks like a hinge here. But yeah, as you can tell, there's no actual joint or anything. This is just molded detail. It's a bait and switch to make you think it does, but it doesn't. Yeah. So this, to me at least, was the most dissatisfying part of this Megazord all those years ago when this came out, because I assumed that this would turn into the triangle, and it didn't. So that was disappointing for me. They kept the molded triangle details on the arms here, which is nice. So I mean, that's all right. So move these out here, and also these hands here, they're meant to have articulation too. Like they're meant to move, and they don't, which is a shame. And one more thing I was going to say about this. The fact it doesn't turn into a triangle is extra annoying, actually, because in some of the combinations for Megazord, such as the Claw Armor Megazord and the Gigazord, I think it is, the idea is the circle and the triangle are meant to fold up into the circle and triangle, because they're supposed to stay in position, and they're meant to be like background decorations for the Megazord. And while the circle does fold up into the circle and does what it's supposed to, because the triangle won't turn into the because Mercury won't turn into the triangle, it just turns into an arm. It's just an arm dragging along, which is very, very awkward. It looks like, it doesn't even look official in design. It just looks like a bootleg, which is not which is not the impression that you want to go for with this. It just looks like it was half put together, so that's a shame. Anyway, we'll get to the Megazord transformation in a bit. But the next one, of course, we have is the bear. And yeah, you can hear the plastic creaking. Yeah, and yeah, there's a lot of silver paint. There's meant to be silver paint inside all four legs here. Plus, I believe the inside of here is meant to be painted up. Let's just have a look at the Japanese. No. I stand corrected. The inside's not meant to be painted up. I'm so glad I have a Japanese version right next to me to compare it to. If we actually, it's on the other side. Actually, yeah. If we fold this up here, you can see vaguely see the remnants of the kanji for forest, because it's shinier. Now, again, they didn't paint this up in green, although judging by what they did with this, I mean, you'd think they would have painted that up in green, but they didn't, which is weird, because it's like they're contradicting themselves. They did do the silver on the sides here, which is nice. the top symbol, the square, it's not chrome gold like the Japanese version. I mean, that's fine. The bear head, which I think is painted the same as Japanese, looks like it. They included the red for the eyes. There wasn't much paint on the head to begin with. The mouth does open and close, which is a detail which they didn't have to include because it's like so. It's not required, but they did include some molded teeth, fangs on the inside, which again they didn't have to do. It's just nice they included that. Anyway, next up is the Dragon Zord. Now this is, I want to say it's the most embarrassing, because this is this is missing half its length, because you can see here that again, yeah, you've got the shiny black kanji for water, the water kanji. It's supposed to be blue, which again you'd think they'd paint it blue, but nah, they didn't. This is the worst offender by far for design wise, because there's some cracks, slight cracks here, lines, molded lines, where this is meant to fold out into a tail, and this is meant to fold out into a neck, and it's meant to be about have this much length to it, and it doesn't have that. I mean, yeah, for constraints, but it's meant to be a dragon. It's meant to be the longest. It's meant to be the most articulated Zord. They just leveled it down to just this, which is a bit embarrassing, to be fair. It looks a bit wrong, actually. They did keep the legs. They did mold the legs quite nice. The bottom part gets concealed underneath here because it's all hollow inside. Which, yeah, it is what it is, I suppose. This is an original idea design, because they couldn't have the Japanese one work for this kind of budget, which is a shame, really, because they were so limited. Again, the gold hexagon here is just not chrome. I mean, again, that's possible. And the head is all painted the same. The mouth is the same. They painted the face nice. They did all the teeth molded detail. They painted all that up nice. One of the things I think they pulled off okay was that they have the helmet stored underneath, where you press the grey button and the helmet comes out. And there's like a mechanism inside here, like a release. This didn't happen on the Japanese version. It was attached by a clip. So I mean, they could think of this. But what I do not like about this Zord at all is the fact they decided to artificially extend the Zord's length by having a hole at the back where you could put the Megazord sword in to give it like a tail. I mean, I can see where the inspiration came from, but that's like artificially extending what this Zord should have been doing without any additional accessory help. So that's a bit disappointing. I mean, they tried. I mean, come on. But yeah, it feels a bit like a cheat. Oh, and in case you're wondering what these little pegs are for, oh no, this is probably a worse offender for the bear as well, because if you have a look on the bear, you can see there's two raised pegs. This is for the action figures, because for some reason they decided to think for some reason they thought it was okay to have kids display them like this, have the Zords on the side, because how else are the Rangers meant to stand on them? Because the articulation won't let the figures go from this end to stand up on here and have the leg curl around. No, they insist you display it like this, which is abominable. I mean, not so much for this one, because this one actually the leg is flat. This one doesn't, because if I fold up the legs here, for instance, this one can wonk around quite a bit. This one stays perfectly flat. So that's another worst offender for this Megazord. So that's embarrassing. But other than that, the paint's done nice on the head. They had to paint what they had to have it. All the silver's done nice too. Again, on both sides. So anyway, we'll move on to the final Zord, which is the Lion Zord. Dun dun dun. Bit awkward this. Now this is, well, it retains its Japanese design, but that's the best bit about this I can say. Sure, I mean, sure, they did all the paint. They did the silver. They did the gold on bottom nice too. They didn't paint the legs for some reason, although I'm positive that the Japanese version had silver on these legs. They painted the front up nice with all the red. We'll get to that in a minute. The head's been painted up nice too. The head doesn't fold in like the Japanese version. It's molded, stays out. They didn't do the paint on the legs here, which is, again, it's okay. Because I mean, if it's folded up like this, you're not gonna see it. Yeah. The problem is, one of my major pet peeves with this particular Zord is that while they did do the silver, would it really have killed them to put on extra parts of red on these little parts of black here? Because they painted the red up on here fine, and they didn't do that for the black. So why couldn't they just put 2 extra bits of red paint on these 2 sides? I mean, it's 2. Sure, they're big parts, but they painted this and they didn't paint that. Awkward. Yeah, that's not really satisfying to me, actually. Also, like with the other Zords, these parts do not fold in at all. They are stuck in place like armor plates. They will not move. There's no hinges, there's no knout. Yeah, right, so I think we should get to the combination, which is pretty simple, actually, which we will now discuss. Right, for the legs, we take the Megazord. We fold in all the legs for the bear. So that's all 4. Then we move the head up, and we've got a leg. As you can see, this part here is meant to fold up and over, meaning that these 2 parts can slide down, thus completing the kanji. That's not how it goes. As you can see, that's where the kanji looks really deformed and really unreadable to a Japanese person. Lol, I made a kanji joke. So yeah, but what I will say is that they kept the moulding on this part here on both sides, which again they didn't have to do because it's really small and unnoticeable. I mean, they also kept the moulding on this part here and the top too. So they did a lot of moulding that would otherwise be unnecessary, but honestly, I'm just glad they kept those details in, which I feel like they always do with Power Rangers, but sometimes it can be a bit teasing because I've seen what the Striker Morpher looks like. There's some arrows on the back of the Striker Morpher, which is meant to be for the folding to phone function, and I mean, you can see them, sure, but they don't actually do anything, which is kind of like a bit of a tease, which I don't really like, because I mean, like, to the average kid, they'd see those arrows and then they'd be wondering why they didn't do anything, because it's like they were meant to do something, but they don't. So am I a fan of that? Not really. Anyway, for the other leg, we've got the Dragon Zord. We pop the helmet out like with how I discussed earlier, put off the side. We'll discuss that in a minute. Put the head up like this, and then the tail folds around. I don't know why I said tail, it just folds up like this. Yeah, the hexagon, this is meant to be, again, this is meant to move, and it's meant to fold down to a separate set of clips down here, and there's no separate set of clips, it's just these. So that's was missed out. But yeah, this is a bit of an eyesore on the front of the leg, but again, there's nothing they could do about that. This is the most heavily redesigned Zord, so I suppose they had to make a couple of design sacrifices. Again, they kept all the moulding up, nice. Not so much moulding on the top of the Zord, I don't think. They kept all the moulding on the back, though. So I mean, they kept they kept the moulding up. I mean, I can appreciate that. Which is good. And then we've got the Lion Zord. Good grief. First up, we fold in the front legs. And you can see there's some connectors on either side. We turn it upside down and we push the back legs in to here. And then we move the front put the line up, and it forms this part of the Megazord. And then we could attach the legs, which is done like this. And then we move the camera up, because these Megazords always get too flipping damn big for these videos. And then we take the Ape Zord, push the arms in there, then fold them up from an arm, and we attach it here. And the turtle's got the most complex transformation out of all of them, because it kept the... This is basically the same design as the Japanese version. What we do here is that we open this up all the way, so it clips in, using the clips at the back. We fold the head in like this, fold in the turtle's legs to the side, and then we take this back part here, and we spin it all the way around like this, so it has like an arm, hand, thumbs up everyone, and then this goes in here. And now to reveal the head, we take this middle part here, then we goes up like this, and the head is in there. Now I'm just going to take a quick look at the head. The head, I think, has been kept up the same way, it's been painted the same as the Japanese version. I think, again, if I have a look at the Shinkano head, I'll be able to tell you. Yeah, the paint looks the same, really. Then we take the helmet here, fold up fold it up like this, and yeah, the detailing, the moulding's the same on this. Even on the back, it's the same. If I actually know that there is a bit of difference, because if you have a look at the Japanese version here, you can see that there's a bit of red missing from the middle part. Also, it looks a bit more bunched up. That's, I think, due to the moulding of the head, honestly. Also, this is chrome and this isn't. So it just goes on like this. And yeah, somehow Megazord's been complete. What do I think of this design? It looks a lot more humanoid than Shinkano does, mainly because of the middle section here, that I wouldn't say midriff, but is that really right to call it, to have a Megazord have a midriff? I don't know. The articulation is the same as Shinkano. There's no ratchet joints, no nothing, needs to spin fluidly, which is okay for some, but it kind of takes away from well, it takes away two things. It takes away the precise posability, like you can't just have it like this because it'll just fall down like a bird, and there's no noise like this. There's no satisfying noise when you spin it, so that's bad. The sword, like the Shinkano version, can be kept in the side pocket here. And I forgot where the sword is, so the sword's not getting included in this video. Boo! And also one more thing I will point out, my biggest pet peeve about this whole thing, the whole Megazord. This top connector, as you can see here, this is meant to hold some of the combinations like the Tiger and the Battle Wing. But the older this Zord gets, the more this likes to happen. Which means if there's a lot of weight based on the back of here, it's gonna become like a scale and fall down. So that's another pet peeve. Honestly, there's so many pet peeves with this Megazord. So that's why I got Shinkano to begin with, actually, because I wanted to actually have the proper version. And also one final disclaimer. I know I said that the next video will be Shinkano. At the start of this video, I didn't realise this video would be 30 minutes. Because I originally wanted to include the combinations of all the additional origamis, but I can't do that now. Folding Zords, no. I can't do that now, so that's going to be next Monday's video, where I show off the beetle, the swordfish, and the tiger, and the individual combinations they have with the Megazord. It was going to be in this video, but I can't fit it in now So that's going to be next Monday's video. Also, the premiere feature on YouTube. In case you're wondering why I'm referring to them as next Monday's videos when they are premiered much earlier in the month, that's because I want to do videos but can't due to how often Mondays happen, like once per week. So that's why I do them in advance and then make them premiere on the day that I want them to go live. So that's a very convenient feature, YouTube.